Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. This is a labor of love for me, so I appreciate it that you're here watching. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to do a review of a anime that came out this season, back in July, and it's called the Earthbound Mole. All right, for those of you who are new to the channel, just a kind of a recap on how I do reviews. So I take an anime, and if it's not a movie or like a 4-episode OVA, I definitely give it what I call the 3-episode treatment. So I watch the first 3 episodes because sometimes the first episode might be one of the plotting, getting the band together kind of thing, and then the next 2 episodes gives you more of an idea of where the anime is going, what the tone is, an idea of the characters. You just get a general sense of what the anime is going to go, where it's going to go, and what it's going to be about. So I try to watch 3 episodes. So I did 3 episodes of the Earthbound Mole, which again came out in July of this year, 2025. And yeah, this is definitely in my wheelhouse, I gotta tell you that. So why don't we get into the specifics here. Go to the ever helpful Wikipedia page. Believe it or not, there's actually not that much information from the Wikipedia. It's Deken no Mogura, the Earthbound Mole. My Japanese is bad, so I'm just going to call it by the English title. It is an ongoing magazine manga. So if you want to see it on digital, that's Kodansha. The actual print is from Morning, a sign-in manga collection, and it has been going on since April of 2021. It's still going on, so we still got stories coming out of it. Like I said, I just started watching this back in July. There's 5 episodes. I'm up to episode 3. Spoiler alert, I am enjoying it. Not a whole lot of quirky information. I can tell you that it's written by Natsumi Eguchi. There's not much that I know about him or that I can find just yet. It is being produced by Brain Base, who have done things that started around the early 2000s. They have done things like Baccano, Spice and Wolf 2, Natsumi's Book of Friends, 2nd season, if you know what I'm talking about. Love that show, by the way. They've done so many other things. One that seems to be interesting that I had not seen before is Golden Kamuy 4th season. So they're doing that. That's To Your Eternity. This is the same folks that do To Your Eternity, if you like that one. And this looks interesting. This was from last year. An Archdemon's Dilemma: How to Love Your Elf Bride. So they've been around. They've done some stuff, some quality stuff, and so yeah, there you go. Again, this is kind of in my wheelhouse. I enjoy many different types of anime. There's some stuff that I don't particularly get into, like sports anime and idol and stuff like that. But I watch a lot of stuff. But there's some things I just kind of hone in on, and this is in that weird oddity wheelhouse of things that I enjoy, that makes me happy. So the Earthbound Mole, the plot is simply this thus far. Sorry for the brightness. I'm not sure what's going on here. The Earthbound Mole is about this group of college students, and who one of them is trying to get his degree in literature, writing, and that kind of thing. And he and his classmates are meeting up at this kind of local watering hole. They order some ramen, drinking, and trying to figure out how they're going to do their big project for their class, which is to come up with ideas for a children's story, a children's book. And so our protagonist Kun and his cute little chibi almost girl sidekick go off and on to after this meeting, and they're trying to figure it out, and suddenly a book gets thrown off of a balcony, and it turns out that was actually one of their classmates who is a big dullard, a big dumb guy, and the book falls down and it hits this guy on the head. And they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's gotten hurt. We need to take care of him, right?" And so they grab him, and he's just like, no hospitals, no police, no none of this, and it just is in a very comedic, dark comedic way. And so they bandage him up, and he's like, "Can you just take me to my home?" And he lives on this place called Drawer Street, and he goes there, and they're like, "We've passed this alleyway like all the time, and we've never noticed this street here. What's going on?" So they get him in there, and they discover that this guy is actually immortal, kind of. So he tells them that he did something bad, and his punishment is to not is that he's not allowed. He can't die. He can't go to heaven, right? Or move on, right? He can't do that. Sorry, I'm just like really bright today. I don't know what's going on here. It's like I've got my own aura thing going on. I'll have to do this and fix this in post production, so to speak. So anyway, so he tells them they can't really die. He can get messed up, like he can get hurt, but he can't really die. And he just doesn't, and so he has this lantern, and he says, well, I can go around, and I see demons and spirits and things like that, and if I capture part of their spiritual fire, if I get enough of this will enable me to move on, to die and move on. And then so they go. So the college students, both of them are sitting there looking at him and going, "Well, why don't you just why don't you go to the hospital? Why don't you get your residency card? All this stuff." He goes, "No. I don't want people knowing about me. And also, it's expensive." And it turns out the dude's an immortal leech is basically what he is. And so they're just like they're kind of weirdly kind of like wanting to make sure he's okay, but at the same time kind of annoyed that they kind of are aware that he's using them to a certain point. And he says, "By the way, I noticed that you can see spirits, that the two of you can see spirits. So if you happen to see spirits, please let me know." Writes down his number and his address, and he goes, "All you have to do is come back this way and you'll see this street, and just let me know, and I'll take care of them for you, and I'll take their fire, and hopefully it'll be enough that eventually I will move on." So the next couple episodes is basically him interrupting their lives, so to speak, and it's kind of funny. Like the girl kind of feels bad about him, and the guy in the second episode, the guy's just like, maybe we should check up on him. He's kind of delusional, and maybe that hit on the head really did something. Maybe we should really check on this guy. And so they go in there, and on the second episode, she like goes out and she goes, they buy him like some medical stuff like Band-Aids and things like that, and the girl buys him a thing of liver, right? And the guy's just like, "Why are you buying him liver? What are you going to do? He's not going to eat liver. All I can do." She's like, "I'm a student. It's all I can afford." So they go back to the guy's place, and he is just so touched. He is so touched that they care about him. And so he loves the liver, and he's very thankful for it and for all that stuff. And then he goes on to be more of a lech and a leech. And then he goes and he keeps calling them out of like going, "Hey, I know you two are going to hook up at some point." And they're like, "What are you talking about? Just shut up. We're not, no." And of course, she's getting red-faced because that's exactly what she wants. And so we go into this story where he tells more about himself, and he spins this yarn about how long he's been around. And he actually talks about being in World War II. And this is where the story kind of takes a serious turn, where he kind of talks about, how like every time he thinks he has just enough, just needs a little bit more to move on, something happens where he has to use that flame. So that flame heals him. It can heal other people. It can do various things. So he's constantly, so his dilemma is that while he's a lech, and he's a lecher, and he's mooching off all these people, and he's kind of lazy as well. I mean, really lazy. He runs a hot spring, and but he's always having to expend the spiritual flames that he needs to be able to move on. So that's kind of his dilemma. And he talks about being in World War II. And one of the reasons why he doesn't want people to know who he is because he said they made a mistake of registering for the draft, and they drafted him, and he went into the war, and he's like, okay, well, at least I'll probably be able to move on because I'm going to be able to get all these spiritual flames from all these dead ghosts and spirits that are wandering around. Then, of course, his better side creeps out, and you learn that what he did was actually help people, like use the flame to get them healed up just enough that they can make it back home and have a life. And we learn in one episode that this one person who also has mystical abilities says, hey, I know I don't have long to live. Can you give me just enough time to make sure that my family's okay, and that if I know what you are and I know what's happened to you, I know that you can't leave Earth, but if you're going to be here for a while, if you can just take a look in on my family from time to time. And his family is a bunch of exorcists. So this guy has made friends with these families over time. So he's actually pretty knowledgeable of people in the area, to the point where even the little girl goes, I think he might have saved my great grandfather's life in World War II. We're not 100% sure on that. So then we go on to one of the heirs of the guy that he saved in World War II, one of the exorcist guy, and his great grandson is there helping him out, and who's like a total, just like, this guy. And he's trying to tell the kids, he's just like, look, I know you think you're doing a good thing, but this guy is not what he says he is. He's something else, and he's just using you, okay? You understand that, right? Okay, you know that. You seem like good people, so I'm telling you this. He actually says that. There's by episode 3, we get a new person in the troupe, a very brainless freshman high school girl who just, every time something happens, she announces her name and that she loves food. All right. So that's kind of the plot thus far. So the idea, I think, is that whether or not is he going to be able to move on? Is he actually a person who angered the gods, and so they cursed him with immortality, or is he something else? Because I don't want to spoil it for you in case you want to watch it. But by the end of episode 3, you go, oh, he really might not be a person, like a human being. So there we go. Is he or isn't he? So anyway, so there's the plot. This is very supernatural, low key. Think Dandadan, but not nearly as shonen. Like not nearly at all as shonen. So you have a couple people who can see spirits. You have this guy who claims that he angered the gods, so they won't. So he has a weird form of immortality where he can get hurt all the time, but he can collect spiritual flames to heal himself and other people, but if he gets enough, he can go to heaven. We got an exorcist, and we have a ditzy freshman girl who announces that she likes food a lot. There you go. So we have the team, so to speak, and he even says, Magoros even says that's the name of the mole. Even says, I have my team together now. It's been such a long time since I had a team to help me get my fire so I can go on to heaven. So he's really happy about this by the end of the episode. So I will be continuing watching this because this is definitely weird enough and odd enough that I am enjoying it, much like Don to Don. And it's, like I said, it's just a much lower key Don to Don. So animation style. Animation is really interesting in this one. It's not over the top CGI. There are a couple places where they use CGI to kind of do interesting, kind of like mystical things, to kind of mess with your head a little bit. And the backgrounds are very pastel and soft, and almost like, think back when if you watch Sailor Moon and you see Sailor Moon's house that she lives in, and it's like that almost. Very light, very pastel-y, interesting colors, bright colors, unique colors. It's just really, really kind of interesting. The animation itself, in terms of movement, it's fine. It's serviceable. It does what it needs to do. Again, thus far, this has not proven to be a shonen anime. This is more of a dark fantasy, dark comedy kind of thing going on. Some of the characters are not chibi, but chibi-like big heads, small bodies kind of thing. And but not in a overtly chibi way. It's kind of hard to describe. You have to actually kind of see it. And the voice actor, watching, I haven't watched the English dub of this. Only the Japanese. The Japanese voice actor for Mogura, very enticing voice. Like very just like you could listen to this guy read the phone book. he's on that level. So I should probably look him up and figure out what else he's done. I'm sure he's done other stuff. So like I said, yes, is this interesting? It is very much interesting. So like a low key Don to Don. If you like dark humor, if you like something, even though it's dark humor, dark comedy, dark fantasy, there's a lightness to it. It's very interesting. Like the twist at the end of episode 3 is enough to go, oh really? So if you know your Japanese folklore, or if you happen to know a certain anime with the name Kagura in it, then you might be interested in this. So we shall see what happens. I will continue to watch this. This is, I do recommend this very much. If you're into that type of thing, this is an anime in my particular wheelhouse, so I'm a little bit biased on my opinion here. But if you want to try something different, but not something that's going to be like, gore or anything like that, like Chainsaw Man or something like that, but you want something kind of a little big dark humor and something on the darker spiritual side of things, done in an interesting way, give this a try. If you're more of an idol for person or a sports anime, isekai, that kind of stuff, may not be in your wheelhouse. But if you want to give it a try, I think you might like it. You could. I think there's a possibility there. But for those of us who like the odd things, very much enjoying it right now. So please give it a try. All right, so that is it. That was a review for the Earthbound Mole. Sorry for the weird brightness that's happening here. Again, if you may not know what I'm talking about, if I'm successful in dealing with this in editing, and also sorry for the ambient noise. I have to do laundry today. It just caught up to me. So sorry for the ambient noise in the background there. But yeah, it's Earthbound Mole. Please give it a try. I think you might like it. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this week. I hope you guys stay well, because I love you guys, and keep yourselves well, because I like to see you out there in the wild, maybe at a convention, maybe at Anime USA. Maybe I'll see you guys there. If you happen to see me out in the world, please come up and say hi to me. I would love to chat with you. And other than that, as always, watch more anime.